how much do you use helium?
We do. Yeah.
Mhm. And are your helium sucking days over? Because I'm still tempted when I get around
Oh,
a helium balloon.
Alvin.
I can't
You're
help
really-
it. I can't help it.
you're really not supposed to do that.
I know
not
it's
good for your
it's
health.
not good for you. I know. I
Also,
know.
like whatever's in that tank that's probably been around for
Oh,
like
yeah.
60 years.
Okay.
And the
There's
stuff
probably
they
like
fill it with-
asbestos in there or
Oh,
like
yeah.
lead. You've
Alright.
got, yeah.
For sure.
All
I mean,
right,
don't
put
do
a
fine.
filter on it at least or something.
Okay,
You know what I
my
mean?
helium sucking days are over. It's fine. Welcome to Beats Working, winning the game of events, where we share stories and strategies to turn any event or life moment into something unforgettable.
Events are wild, and the people who work in them are some of the most resilient humans on earth. If you know, you know.
So come with us behind the curtain for a look at their most memorable experiences.
As they say, the show must go on, so let's get on with the show.
Welcome back to another episode of Beats Working, winning the game of events. I am really excited, Libby, for our guest today because this is like some real talent that's about to slide in behind the mic. We have Sean Edwards, who is an event strategist and founder of The Balloon Guy, a balloon artist extraordinaire who started his career at, wait for it, 12 years old.
You little
Sean-
kid entrepreneurs.
Seriously. Sean has since climbed to the top of the LA event scene, earning the trust of clients like Beyoncé, Lady Gaga, Disney,
Ever heard of her?
Nike, Universal Studios. His artistic mastery and vision transform ordinary venues into immersive, joy-filled celebrations. Whether it's a luxury balloon decor or high-impact installations, Sean brings color, creativity, and connection to every event. Sean, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. That was quite an intro. Like, can you follow me around
Da, da,
everywhere?
da, da.
Everywhere. I'll follow you everywhere you go. So I know that like Kardashians weren't in the list that I just rattled off, but when I think about extravagant balloon artwork, that is the first place my brain goes because I've watched every episode and they all have those birthday parties for all 8,000 of the kids. And balloons are a really big deal. Like they're a really big deal when it comes to event decor.
Especially here in LA with celebrities like the Kardashians, which, by the way, I have worked for them, but as a balloon artist, like a balloon animal artist, which is how I started.
Okay.
There's another company here that's a great company, and they do most of their balloon decorations.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks to the Kardashians for getting this whole thing popping off, because like it's definitely since their balloon jokes, right?
I'm just here for it. I'm here for it all day.
Hair, beigey
Yeah,
wall and stuff.
all of that. And so I just
Everybody
really
wants that.
feel like it is the new trend. And I'm not mad about it because, I'm just kind of tired of photo booths. I'm just kind of tired of it. And I think balloons are the cutting edge trend things. So, but before we get to all of that, I need to go back to the beginning, which is Sean at age 12. How do
So
you
like 10
even
years ago. 'cause
obviously
you're-
10 years ago. How does this happen? How did you get hired for your first event? When did you know you love balloons? Like, just walk us through how this started.
So I was an only child and I was always bored. So I had nothing to do. I was always bored. My parents didn't let me watch TV, so they were really trying to maximize the boredom. And so I used to walk around just being like, I'm bored. And they would give me these kits, of like different activities to do. And balloon animals happened to be one of them. And so I just like opened up this kit and I got super into it. And little by little, I got better and better books and better balloons. And then when I was about 12, there was a big thing because I grew up in the South this was in North Carolina, and buffets were like a really big thing on Sundays that everybody like went to. After church, you went to the local
Buffet.
buffet,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
And so the
I
one
love a
closest to
buffet.
my house was called Country Roadhouse Buffet and Grill. That was my first job doing balloons and magic for people as they waited in line to pay to go to the buffet. And then I would also like go around table to table and make balloons for people. And they would like tip me. They paid me like
That's so
25
cute.
bucks. Yeah. So that was my first job, was working at a buffet doing balloon animals. And
Oh my gosh,
it
that's
was really
so
fun. You
cute.
know, I mean, people really respond to a balloon. It's not something you think you're going to see most of the time in your day. So I
Mhm.
think when you do get a balloon, especially a balloon animal, I mean, it's cool. You know, it's different. It breaks up kind of the monotony of life. And
They're so fun.
I think if given the choice of a balloon animal or a towel animal, you know how like fancy resorts make animals out of towels.
Mhm.
I'm going to go with balloon animal every time, I think. Because there's more
Yeah.
color options. I think that just more options in general. Okay, back when you were 12, did you have a specific animal that you really loved to make or was really popular?
I mean, the dog was like, it's now my logo because it's the first balloon animal
Classic.
that I learned how to
Classic.
make was the dog. I did these like a heart with these two lovebirds kissing in the middle.
Aw.
That was always a really
Cute.
popular one. What else?
That
A
sounds really
flower.
hard.
Well, these were all pretty basic. Now I, after years of doing it, you can do some pretty, and balloon animals, I would say, since I was a kid, I've gotten much more advanced.
Mhm.
The level you have to be at to be like a balloon animal, to have that be your career as a balloon artist is pretty high. When I was a kid, it was like, as long as you can make a couple, you're good.
You just need
So
to
the
have a
bar was
couple on your
pretty low.
roster. What do you think is the most now? What's the most difficult balloon animal, do you think? What's the most
That I've made.
complicated?
Anytime you do like an outfit, like dresses, or I mostly do
Oh my
like, well, now I mostly do balloon decorations,
Mhm.
but um, when I was doing balloon twisting for events and stuff, it was not stuff that I really did ahead of time, or a lot of people will do competitions. I just did it for events on like an hourly basis. So I would show up. My favorite type of event to do is always a wedding. I love it's fun because you know some of the weddings can be super stuffy, and then at the
Mhm.
after people have a few drinks and like get a little loose and things get a little dull, they bring me out with a bunch of balloons, and then I make like outfits and hats and
Oh,
uh
yeah.
wearables like wings and crazy stuff, lights. We put lights on them, and then it can get really fun. So that's my favorite type of event to do. But yeah, I mostly did event balloons. So the complexity of what you can do in a 2 hour span is it's not that complex. But
Yeah.
so like the balloon dresses and stuff that you see on like Instagram, a friend of mine, Molly Balloons, who I also recommend everyone check out, she does amazing like dresses and just wearables for like parades and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And she's really great at that. But those take days and a number of people to do usually, or just a lot of time.
You know, I've never made a balloon animal, but I did make a balloon. I wouldn't call it an arch. It was a garland, I guess I would
Okay.
call it. A very big one. And I made it for my son's birthday, I think. I think it was his birthday. Yeah, it was a couple years ago. Or maybe it was last year. I don't know. Birthdays all run together. He's only 8, so I've got a lot to go. So I shouldn't run them all. Anyway, I hung it in the living room. I just bought it on Amazon, you know, and I was like, I've had people do balloons. I've had people do like balloon decor at events before. Like it looks like they have real tools and like actual like people working on it. But like I could do this. No, it took me like 5 hours. And Alysse can attest because I was like, I can't do these work meetings. I have to finish this balloon garland. Balloons were flying all over. There was confetti all over my office. And I finally got it up. Like made my husband pick him up from school. I was like, you got to drive around the block a few times because I'm not quite ready. I finally got it up. I was like sweating. I mean, you're like, I could do that. No, I can't. It actually takes real skill and like knowing what you're doing, yes, I would maybe attempt another one, but I would probably rather pay someone else to do it next time. I don't know if I want to do it again because I'm not very good at that. And I've got hand-eye coordination. I'm like pretty dexterous, but it takes real skill. I think I
Or just, like,
underestimated
a
the
lot of
skill.
time, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna DIY, like we're actually working on a DIY kit right now with like, but we want it to be like we're calling it, the working title is the exquisite balloon kit.
Ooh.
Because we want it to be really great. Because I feel like people often come to us with that problem. They're like, I bought this kit on Amazon. It's impossible. Like I don't have
The
8
balloons keep
hours to work
popping
on
off
it.
of this like long thing. Like
Yes, there's like
also,
this weird tape that you're
yeah.
supposed to put
And
them
I need
in.
I need like a map. I'm not a
A
super
map.
visually creative person. So like if you give me a picture and you're like, make it look like this, I can make it look like that. But when they're like, just stick the balloons in, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
how do I do that so it looks good?
I feel like, and my family, often hits me up for balloon tips. One of Nicole in my family, she always asks me about how to do balloon garlands. And I've been able to coach her like pretty successfully, I feel like, on how to level up her,
Mm-hmm.
garlands each event. And she's like pretty good at this point. So I feel like I do want to put out like a kit at some point with just like a video, because I feel like these kits on Amazon that you get, they don't need to be that complicated, but if they just had like an instruction video with them, it would already be like twice as worth the money, because it's really not as hard as you would imagine it to be, but it does take skill. It does take time to blow them up. You don't want to be stuck there with one of these hand pumps just
Oh no, you got to
grinding
have the
away.
automatic one.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
automatic one for sure. Definitely invest $20 in that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And
worth it.
but yeah, I totally hear you. And I feel like that's the first thing people try and do is like a balloon garland.
Well, see, I'm
And
just going to FaceTime you next time I want to do it and I'll have you coach me
sure,
through it.
I'll do it.
You're like the balloon whisperer.
Yeah. So like halfway through that, I was like, this is not going well, but I'm too far into it. I just gotta do it. It's gonna take forever. My day is shot, but I'm committed already. I gotta finish this. So that was my moment during, and not really a high stakes event, but but it was birthday. It's a big birthday. It was 7,
Big deal.
So
You only turned 7 once.
You only turned 7 once.
Hopefully.
I hope. So that was my moment. But I want to know if you've ever had a moment. It would be it'd be scaled a lot higher because your skills are at a much different level than mine are. But during an event, when have you had a balloon situation go awry? Like, did all of them pop? Did some of them pop?
Can weather be a factor and climate?
Definitely.
I have so many questions
Related
related
does the rain
to
do
weather,
it?
climate, like the sustainability, like what happened. Like, do you have a certain balloon brand you like? Like, tell us we need to know everything.
Sure. So I can talk about an event that we just recently did, actually. And I will say, first off, weather, heat is the worst. I live in Los Angeles. It's where my company's based. And like, for instance, we were talking about the Kardashians, one of my other clients, Miley Cyrus. They all live like in like the hottest area of LA that you can live in. It's like always, like 90 degrees.
Ugh.
And so it's really difficult. You have to, if you ever do a balloon garland again, Libby, you have to underinflate the balloons. So like if it says it's a 9-inch balloon, don't make it bigger than 5 inches. If it's an 11-inch balloon, don't make it bigger than 8 inches, and so forth. So like downsize it at least 3 inches, because otherwise the air will expand and then it'll pop.
That tracks because I had it in our living room and it gets kind of hot in there because there's so many windows. So if you don't have the blinds down, and it's also Seattle, so it's an older house, so like doesn't have AC. Most houses here don't have AC. And so like we'd be sitting and all of a sudden you'd hear like a big bang come from part of the house. And I was like, oh, another balloon.
It was
popped.
terrifying. I was on calls with her and I was like, oh my gosh, it was terrifying.
I had one mom tell me because we're a luxury balloon company is what like most people would say we are.
Mhm.
We're a balloon decor company, and one of the moms told me the same thing. Her balloons were like popping every 5 seconds because it was just so hot. And that's the last thing you want to hear is like somebody, invested all
Bang,
this money.
bang.
Yeah. You don't want to sit there and listen to that your whole party,
Oh,
So,
Well, and it
yeah.
can be kind of triggering depending on who's attending. It's like, I don't know, it's not a great sound. It's not a great sound when they
truly not.
pop.
A little tidbit about the balloons popping. I learned this bit of trivia, I don't know, a long time ago, and I spout it out all the time. But when a balloon pops, it actually creates a mini sonic boom. So that's why you get so scared.
Oh,
Oh.
that's a good tip.
Huh.
Yeah.
Or a good piece of trivia, I guess.
Do
And if you asked about balloon brands too,
Mhm.
I really like, there's 3 main brands. One of them just went out of business. So I love Sempertex balloons. And a lot of people really love Tough Tex balloons, which are made here in the USA, in Ohio. But yeah, those are both great brands if you look at
are the tariffs going to affect your business with balloon sales?
They very well could, yes, because most of the balloons, almost all of the latex is made in China and then imported to wherever. The Sempertex balloons that we like to use, I believe, are made in Colombia. So we would be importing those, and they've already started saying that they're, going to go way up, but we don't have an estimate yet. But everyone's raising prices preemptively. So we've seen bags, of balloons like double. So yeah, I mean, the tariffs will affect birthday parties everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What's the disposal process of balloons that is sustainable or earth friendly?
So there's actually someone that's looking to solve this problem right now. They're trying to repurpose the balloons or like party decor so that people can reuse it, because not just balloons, but stuff you buy on Amazon, streamers and confetti,
Mm-hmm.
not confetti, but anything reusable, extra plates, stuff like that. It usually just ends up in the trash. So I know there are companies out there now that are trying to repurpose some of this stuff so that other people could use it, which I think is a great idea actually, because there is so much. There's my dog.
I love that. I could just see the toy kind of like over your
I
shoulder.
love a
And
lammy.
I was like,
It's a lamb
that's
chop,
either a
yeah.
human or a dog just dangling that. And I gotta think it's Chance, but I
He-
don't know.
Yeah, he has free reign of this place. Like he just runs
He's the
it.
He's the
boss.
boss.
He's the
Mhm.
boss.
But yeah, so I definitely think it's something that we want to solve too, is like figuring out how to party more responsibly and like with less waste, and like, because balloons, while they are they're made of latex, and it doesn't hurt the trees when you harvest the trees for latex, and they are technically biodegradable, but they take a while to biodegrade, as I understand it. So there is waste involved. But I feel like if you can, if your mom if your balloon garland survives the heat in Seattle, you could always offer it up on Instagram or something and say like, hey, I've got
It's
this,
true.
blue and green balloon garland. If anybody wants it, come pick that.
Yeah.
I do see a lot of people post that on,
The
next
buy
door,
nothing, the
whatever.
next
Yeah,
door, buy
lots
nothing.
of things. Sharing the balloon
about-
love.
Sean, what about balloon related injuries?
Oh, I've never heard one of these before.
This is like my favorite podcast, I think. I've done. Balloon related injuries. Okay, well, I do have some stories.
Bonus points if you can include a hot dog in this story.
There
But-
she goes. She's just trying to work
Well-
Costco into the conversation again,
Yeah.
Sean.
I'm sure people were cooking hot dogs when this happened. Um, My worst one was at a park. I was still doing most of the balloon decor myself, and I was on a really short ladder, so it makes it even more embarrassing. Like a really short ladder, like 1 or 2 steps up in the air, and I fell hard. Like I was rushing because we had like 3 or 4 events that day, and I just like, I don't know what I did, but I just moved my weight or something on the ladder to try and like put this one balloon up. And I
Oh my
just
gosh.
ate it.
For you and the ladder just tipped
just
over.
right over.
Ooh.
And the guy that was working with me was so nice. He just looks at me and goes, oh, like horror. and he like runs to me like a dad running to like their kid or something.
Oh.
But that's the worst one. I still have the scar here.
Oh,
Oh my gosh,
whoa.
that left a mark.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's my worst one. I imagine there have been worse ones. I don't know. But
Yeah.
you can get from the big 3-foot balloons. This is one people talk about a lot in my line of work, is that they can, like, if they pop on your arm, they can leave a bruise.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, because it's like a big sonic boom on your arm.
The latex, like, hitting
Yeah.
against your arm.
Oh.
We try and run a pretty safe operation over here. So thankfully we don't have all the stories are about me.
They're all you.
Yeah. So, but thankfully that's the case.
How much do you use helium?
We do. Yeah.
Mhm. And are your helium sucking days over? Because I'm still tempted when I get around
Oh,
a helium balloon.
Alvin.
I can't
You're
help
really-
it. I can't help it.
You're really not supposed to do that.
I
It's
know
not
it's
good for your health.
not good for you. I know. I
Also,
know.
like whatever's in that tank that's probably been around for
Oh,
like 60
yeah.
years.
Okay.
the
There's
stuff
probably
they
like
pour in
asbestos in there or
Oh,
like
yeah.
lead. You've got,
For
yeah.
sure.
All
I mean,
right,
don't
put
do it.
a
fine.
filter on it at least or something.
Okay,
You know what I
my
mean?
helium sucking days are over. It's fine.
How do you design? I mean, how do you come up with the designs? I mean, I'm sure some people have specific requests, but if I
Yeah.
were going to somebody, I would just be like, these are kind of, this is the idea, this is what the theme is or the vibe of the party, and if there are colors or whatever, and like this is where it's gonna be. Or honestly, I don't even know where it's gonna be. Sometimes I'm like, I need you to come in and give me an idea of where you think something cool would go. How do you draft your design? Do you write it with pencil and paper? Do you have like a special program you use? How do you
It kind of
I love the creative
varies really
process.
quite a bit, depending mostly on budget, like what people have to work with. If it's just a simple design, usually, or if it's a small budget, we can usually look at a photo of different areas of their home or wherever it's going to be and recommend a place to put something. So budget usually is the first informer of what we're going to do. But then I like to go off of color, and then which inspires me a lot. Color, the environment. So I always love to see pictures where it's going to be, what the theme is, colors, what kind of like person you are. It does help to like talk to people
Mhm.
and see if they want something really crisp and clean or something really whimsical, or if it's for a brand, what are the brand kind of, visual elements involved. Like we do stuff for like Nickelodeon, which is very different than working for, Netflix, which is
So
very different. Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So we do like, and a kid's birthday party is very different than a wedding or,
Mhm.
a 30th birthday party even.
For the
So,
Nickelodeon balloons, do you fill them? Do you fill any of them with green slime?
oh my gosh, that would be so cool. Yeah.
It would be really cool.
wish
And then
they-
it could get really hot, and then they could all pop, and slime would fly everywhere.
Well, I
Take
will
that
say,
idea to them.
I don't know if I am allowed to share this or not. I love that idea. I will try and get them to do that. I will. But I think we should have a slime machine and like mix balloons into it somehow.
Oh
So
yeah.
the balloons just like, really slime you good. I don't know. Or like pop. What happens when slime pops with a balloon? Like, I don't know.
I don't
That could be
know.
cool.
I don't know.
That was
My
like-
son and the neighbor filled up regular balloons, well, like latex balloons with water the other day. We have lots of water balloons, and they're the easy ones that you just hook up to the hose, and it fills up, 30 at a time or whatever. You don't have to do them
Oh, wow.
manually on the sink faucet anymore, like you
Oh,
had
wow.
to do when I was in
Back-
my water balloon
Back
days.
in my
Back
day.
in my
Is
day.
this like a sprinkler that you put it on? Because I've never heard of this. We still put water. Okay. I was
It's
gonna
like
say-
this. You just hook this part
Oh my
onto the
God.
hose or the faucet,
Oh.
and then it blows. I mean, this one has seen better days because my 4-year-old carries it around in his backpack. It's his emotional support water balloon package. He's got like 4 of them. That's truly where this came out of today. But
Wow.
yeah, and then it just fills them all up, and then you just shake it or just like pull it, and they all come off.
That's so cool.
It's
That's
changed
I've
the
got
game.
to get
crazy.
water.
That's
Changed the
crazy.
game of water
Okay.
balloons.
Okay, what is the biggest event you've done as far as scale? And that could be like the number of balloons used or the footprint that you covered? Like, what's the largest project you've worked on?
I still think there's a really cool club here. I think it's worldwide. It's called Soho House. And there's like 4 or 5 of them just in LA. But we did Halloween for them one year, and the theme was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh,
And so they wanted to do in their lobby, which is like, I don't know, like 2 double stories. It's really high. It's on the penthouse of a skyscraper here in LA, which is kind of rare. There aren't that many skyscrapers here. And on the top of the roof is they've dropped this, like, they have all these glass windows. And then they have this like giant, humongous chandelier that they've installed. I don't know how, must have craned it up. But anyway, we filled their entire lobby with balloon bubbles because they wanted to emulate that scene where they're like floating. And it took like an entire week. It was like 25 people blowing up clear balloons for hours on end. And because they didn't want to close the club. And the other problem was they didn't want anything to touch the ground or the ceiling. So we had to get really creative. We made these like grids out with fish line, and we like both floated the balloons up and dropped them down. And then they wanted their staircase to be empty. So I also had to split all the balloons at the staircase and have them go perfectly up. So we used magnets, we used fish line. We weren't allowed to use tape. I tied it to some things like lamps that they had. Didn't tell them.
Hope
Anyway.
that you're not listening, Soho House.
Yeah.
So people just walked. So they didn't walk in the balloons, but they all like the balloons were like on either side of them when they came in, and it was like
really cool. Like
tons
the
of them.
photos are really cool. You should check it out on my Instagram, which is Balloon Guy LA. But yeah,
I put it on
like
there, but I didn't see that so much.
there, because you could take a picture on the stairs, like with 20 people, and then the photographer would like stand up at the top of the stairs, and they got these great pictures of like, you know, all these crazy people like drag queens and Halloweened out and like, you know, in the craziest outfits, like with just like tons of bubbles around them, which was really cool. But then it was also super cool because it was super clean in the middle. So it like split. So it looked really, I don't know. That's my favorite thing I've ever done.
When was it?
It's 2025. This was probably 2022.
Okay. I have to scroll back. There's so many good pictures.
would you, with all the captured memories that you have, would you ever like make a coffee table book or like a pictorial memoir of your work? Because it's really unique what you do. I imagine there's some competition, but like,
I would love to do a coffee table book.
like,
Please,
I think
someone
that would
call me
be
about
so
that.
cool, right?
They're so cool to see these kinds of creations. Like, okay, that looks rad. That is insane.
Are you talking about the bubble one?
Yes. And I just want to like put it up here for all those
Oh, that
YouTubers.
is
Look at that. I mean, that's
crazy.
only one of the pictures. That is wild. That's so many balloons. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah,
There's a lot
that's
of them.
wild.
Hanging and
Thousands and
hoisted.
thousands. Yeah. A lot of
I could see
healing,
why it
too.
took a long time. And 25 people.
And 25 people. They had us in their movie theater, which is really large, actually. I don't know how many people it can hold. At least 200, I would think. But they had us in their movie theater for days, you know.
Just blowing up balloons.
Just
Blowing
blowing
up
them up.
balloons.
What's your favorite kind of success after you create, either when you hand it off or after you hear about an event afterwards? Like, how do you measure success other than, people working with you, clients?
Yeah. I feel like, to me, at the end of the day, it's always about the client's response. There's 3 pillars that I always talk about in our business, which is like joy, artistry, and professionalism. And I feel like if we can hit all of those at the top, like then we've succeeded. Like I always want our clients to have like the best party possible. I want the artistic side and vision to be like fully realized and for our team to have executed what they wanted. And then I want us to have like great customer service so that like if something goes wrong or they have a question or whatever it is, they can always call and talk to someone. I hate phone trees, so I really never want to do that. But always call and talk to someone on our team or whoever's on site building. I just want everybody to have the best hospitality and have the best possible customer service experience. Because I feel like that's really for me, any business, it doesn't matter where I go for coffee in the morning or, if I'm staying at a fancy resort, you always just want good customer service. You want to feel like you're being taken care of and like that you're treated like, a fancy person. So like,
Mm-hmm.
that's always, those are my 3 pillars: joy,
I love
artistry.
that.
You're clearly winning the game of balloons. Clearly.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have big dreams, big hopes that my balloons will take flight in the next couple of years. There's a couple big things that we have in the proverbial balloon pipeline. So yeah, I'm excited to see where things go.
Okay, question. We've watched the movie Up Here a lot.
Oh.
Do you think that is it even possible? I haven't Googled this. I could have just Googled it. Do you think it would be possible to tie enough balloons to a house? It's an old house, the foundation is crumbling, so it's not really attached to the ground, to lift it up and carry it into the sky.
It is possible.
What?
It is possible. But I will say, because it's going to scare some people out there, I'm sure, but look up what happened in Ohio a long time ago with them trying to do something like this. And it was a big balloon disaster.
This is a balloon injury story,
Oh
maybe.
my gosh. So many injuries. Just
Libby,
like
you're going to
an
have to put that in
environmental
the show
nightmare.
notes. Yeah.
Just like so much. I mean, go down the rabbit hole because it is quite.
Oh, I love a rabbit hole. God, shoot.
Yeah.
What's your stance on hot air balloons? Have you been in one? Love them? Hate them?
I love a hot air.
Yeah.
They're
You're
super
all in
magical.
on balloon culture all the way.
All the way in.
Mm-hmm.
I try and go to my events and then I try and arrive in a hot air balloon.
As one does.
A balloon car.
Mhm.
We all arrived in balloon cars or motorcycles. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, I do love a hot air.
Okay.
I don't think there thankfully have been that many. I think balloons usually bring a lot of joy to people, which is great, and not a lot of disaster. So,
Well, and I feel like with balloons, like you can go to an event and you might not really remember the decorations. You may or may not remember the centerpieces. Like you might remember it was a beautiful event, but you might not remember the details. But a well done balloon art,
It's like a statement piece.
like you're good. That's gonna be a core memory. You're gonna
It's like
remember
the statement
that.
necklace of the 2000s. Is that when we wore them, or 2010s, 20 aughts or something? Whatever.
I think statement.
Necklace.
I think they're coming back. Yeah, I think they're coming.
Yeah.
The statement necklace.
Are they? Well, it's a good thing I held on to all those.
Everything old is new again. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
did you
no,
see
I agree with you.
kids? There are kids, Gen Z and Gen A, that are, you guys, they're using phones only to make phone calls.
I know. I've heard about that. The
gone back.
landline thing.
It's like a whole thing. Yeah, it's
I
wild.
want to do that because when I use the computer too long, I just I become a monster.
It's the worst. And I will tell you, Alysse has already heard this many times, that we went to Hawaii in May, and I left the last night we were there. I left my cell phone on the counter of the Shave Ice stand in Honolulu, and didn't realize it till after they were closed. And the next they didn't open the next day until after we already had to be at the airport. And it's, kind of like way different parts of the island. So you couldn't just get it and zip over to the plane. So they had to ship me my phone. And because it has a lithium ion battery, it had to go ground. So it actually only took like 2.5 weeks. So it was supposed to take like 3.5 weeks. So it did get here sooner. Capono, shout out to you. You're the best. But during that, I didn't have a phone for like 3 days. And then I did have an old iPhone we had here, but it had 12 megabytes of memory. So I couldn't do anything with it. I couldn't even really take pictures with it. So, I mean, I could. That's a little dramatic, but its capabilities were very limited. And I kind of phone detoxed. I mean, I'm kind of like back at it now that it's back, but it was kind of refreshing. So if you just leave your computer in Honolulu, there you go. Leave your phone in Honolulu. That's all you got to do.
Leave the phone at home, right?
Yeah.
There's all these venues here. I think that the artists are now requiring that you like not bring your phone in or like leave it in a.
You have
I
to
love
like check
that.
it in one of
Yeah.
those like lockbox situations, like they do sometimes
Who's gonna?
when they're filming like a comedy specials. They make you lock your phone up, and you get it when you get back out.
Well, who's gonna like? Are you ever gonna look back and look at the video you took at the concert? Like, no.
People do though. People do. I don't know how some people get really good videos, and I'm just like, how do they do that? Because I mean, I've paid for good seats at concerts and I still get bad photos, you know? It's just not good. Maybe it's just not my talent. I'll stick with balloons.
Yeah.
Maybe. Mine too.
Do you have any, as we wind down here? I mean, I've been blown away by this conversation, but do you have any really good balloon jokes? Do you have I mean, I'm sure you hear them all the time.
I mean, I just like to say popping off a lot.
Just pop it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a blast. I use a lot in emails.
Do you do any creative marketing as far as like, do you have balloon stickers, balloon magnets? Like, do you have any balloon merch?
This is my favorite thing that we got recently. This is our balloon. Can you see it? Our balloon jacket.
Is that
It's
like
like a bomber jacket.
Yeah.
Oh,
really
that's so cute.
When the balloon's on the back.
That's
and then
so
look,
good.
it says our logo, our like.
Oh,
Instagram
there it
thing
is.
right
Balloon
here.
Guy LA. I love
And then
it.
here it says the balloon guy.
The balloon guy.
Love it.
Ooh, that's
Love it.
good.
I like this one. I wear this one to events.
Cute. It's cute.
Every event.
It's very
Or glitter. Or glitter.
glitter
See,
coming at
glitter's
ya.
going to be there forever. You're never going to get rid of that glitter. Oh, I love show and tell. Okay, now I'm going to ask you for a little show and tell tips and tricks. You have, as we've stated before, a client list that is like the dream of most people in the event world. So I'm not going to ask you any like personal info, but what is your secret sauce for building and maintaining trust with celebrity and corporate clients? Just people who, you know, us normal folk hear and go, oh my gosh, how do I get on that party roster?
Well, I think it's hopefully the answer is, I don't know, it's not as thrilling as you might imagine. I feel like it's the three things I mentioned before. It's like those pillars that you keep going back to. I feel like when you're working with high end and corporate clients, the number one thing is customer service. It has to be just excellent. The second, I think, would be like artistry. Your artistry has to be like next level, because people want to be, another balloon joke, blown away. You know, they really do want to have like an experience. You know, events are all about the experience, right? So we just did a really cool, another bubble event actually, but in, I think, October of last year or September, we did an event for L'Oreal, one of their brands called Matrix. And it's this hair company. And it was really cool. They had a giant shampoo bottle in a mansion in Beverly Hills and just like paint balloons all around it. That was a really cool one. But so I feel like what's cool about balloons is it can get expensive, but in the big scheme of things, it's not that expensive to like have a really amazing moment. And I feel like that's what everybody wants at their party. They want to have like
Surprise
a memory,
and delight. Yeah.
a photo, surprise and delight that they're not going to forget. I guess my favorite one that we ever did was for Miley Cyrus, and it was like, she's always got, I feel like I like her vibe. And full disclosure, I've never actually met her. We always work through her assistants, but
all her people, talk to my people, and we do balloons for all the people. It was really cool. We did like clouds as you like come into her home, and it was just really a dramatic moment. I feel like clouds are always super popular, but you always want to, what we try and do are the three pillars I keep talking about, which is like joy, artistry, professionalism. And I feel like if you can hit all three
consistently, that's what's going to keep people coming back, because there's, I don't know how many balloon companies in LA, thousands probably. There's so many. And I feel like there's really only a couple that we compete with because they hit those three things. But I will say, nobody hits them consistently as well as we do. And I feel like our customer service is next level. I think it's exceptional. And we go above and beyond for our clients. And that's our goal. For me, I'm a little bit of a people pleaser. So like at the end of the day, if my clients aren't happy, I really do not sleep well. So it's all about customer satisfaction for me, customer satisfaction. Say that 3 times fast. And then
tongue twister.
Yeah.
So much good intel. And now I know I can launch this house up with a bunch of balloons if I really like it. I'm tired of Seattle.
No, you still got to go read that article from wherever, Indiana. Yeah, Ohio.
I'll read that first.
Maybe just shrink the house. Like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Maybe I'll do it with the Playhouse or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
See you, kids.
Make the goal more attainable.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is a wrap for this episode of Beats Working. If you've got an idea or want to reach out, email us at info@beatsworking.show. Remember, every detail matters, every moment counts, and no matter what, the show must go on.
Thanks for listening to Beats Working, Winning the Game of Events, where we explore what it takes to make moments unforgettable.
If you're leaving with a little more inspiration, a little more perspective, and a big side ache from all of the laughing at our funny jokes, then we've done our job.
Beats Working is a Work P2P production. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platforms.
Your support helps us keep the magic going.